So this is me about 30 years ago. My hair's changed a little bit. I might go back to that hairstyle, haven't decided, I'm still unsure. But I knew about veganism from a very young age. I was very fortunate that one of my parents told me what veganism is and tried to instill that philosophy in me, but I decided to rebel against that because I thought that was the right thing. In my immaturity, in my youth, I was like, I love eating animals, they taste good. I know the facts. I know the facts about the dairy industry and I know the facts about vivisection, but I'm going to decide that I don't want to do that. So my view is that I gradually grew up, and in my growing up, one of my oldest friends is a vegetarian from birth, pretty much. He may have eaten a little bit of meat maybe once or twice. But what that says is that human beings don't need to eat meat. He's a human being. I know him. He's pretty much never eaten meat. We've got millions of people in places like India who've never eaten meat. So all the discussions you need to eat meat are gone because we have people who don't do it. But I knew that all along. He is one of my closest friends, but I was like, I knew that, but I decided to look the other way. Whenever I found out about where dairy comes from, I would look the other way. When I found out about what happens to baby chicks, I would just look the other way. And I wasn't really connecting myself with how we kill animals and the reality that we don't need to. My priority, my taste buds, were more of a priority than the whole of these animals' lives. And it took me a long time to realize that that isn't the right thing to do. So these are my stepping stones that I took towards veganism, and these are the ones that I promote and suggest to people to use because I know they're achievable and I've helped other people do them. And basically, about 10 years ago, somebody gave me a recipe book, and it was about philosophy, it was about the world that we live in, and it talked about slaughterhouses, and it talked about the practices of where animals come from. And I was like, when I thought about it deeply, I was like, that disturbs me. That's a weird practice. Why are we doing that to people? And it questioned whether we should be eating animals at all. It questioned about the sustainability of growing huge amounts of plants, feeding those to animals, and then we eat the animals. And it was kind of like, logic says, why don't we just grow the plants? The plants actually, they take carbon out of the planet, whereas cows burp and fart carbon dioxide back into the planet. It's kind of like, but the reality is, unless we know the basics, we kind of wander on with the rest of our lives, but we need to return to them and go, it's very simple, grow plants instead, and just eat the plants instead of the animals. It's better for the animals and it's better for the planet, but I'll get to that later. And then, so in my own time, I was contemplating what I was doing with my life, and I was like, actually, I don't want to be a part of a system that kills animals for food that I actually don't need. It's illogical, it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't make me feel good to eat animals knowing that it came from somebody. So I then gradually went through pescatarian, and then my friend pointed out to me that fish are animals too, and I was like, oh yeah, they are. I wasn't stupid, but I was just ignorant to the truth, and I forgot that they're animals too, and I forgot that they're thinking, feeding sentient individuals as well as all the land animals. And so at that point I was like, I can't do that. And then I learned about the dairy industry and the way that we take calves away from mothers, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't be a part of that system anymore. And then I went vegan, and then when I was vegan, I realized that we need to get this message out, and we need to educate people and help them along these steps, because everybody's at their own step, so we need to be supportive of them at every step that they take. I used to love eating animal products. If I ate animal products today, I'd probably enjoy the taste, but where it came from would deeply hurt me, would deeply disturb me. So I used to eat a lot of kebabs. I used to eat all the crap. I basically ate all the crap. I ate everything pretty much. I'd eat more kebabs as well. And I'd eat chicken wrapped in bacon, which is a form of chicken wrapped in a slice of a pig. And I used to thought that it does taste good. But pigs in blankets, yeah. There's all these weird common things that we use, the traditions that we take part in, but actually, when we look at the true realities of them, they're not good. I used to love eating eggs. I'd probably have an omelette with 6 eggs in it. Loved it all the time, scrambled, boiled, all the time. Amazing, tastes really good. But now when I see animal products, I ask myself these deeper questions. And that was someone. Those kebab meat, all the meat that I used to eat, that used to be someone. How many were there in their families? And what age were they killed? Because we talk about free range, we talk about local, we talk about backyard, but the majority of the animals that we eat in the UK, we kill them young, a very fraction of their life. And they're like, oh, they're having a happy life. What, for 3 months? 6 weeks? 6 months? That's not a happy life. And if you go to a factory farm, you will see that it's not a happy life. And eggs. So my perception on eggs has now changed because actually I used to have hens, or my family had hens, and when I used to collect the eggs, the hens were trying to peck me to say, no, I don't want you to take my egg. That was a direct, I know that directly that they didn't want me to take it. They wouldn't have pecked me otherwise because the rest of the time they're friendly and they come and sit on your lap. But when I went to take their eggs, their belongings, they didn't want that to happen. But when we see eggs in a supermarket, we don't think about that. The majority of people think of taste and where I'm going to put that in a meal, but the reality is we need to revert our thinking back to what it really is. And actually it's an ovulation of the chicken as well. It's a very weird thing that we eat as humans. The great thing about veganism is there's so many options. Yeah, have you had this one before?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've actually got some samples here as well. Amazing, amazing kebab meat. So I can have those kebabs. We can have all the food that we used to like, but now we just have a vegan version. This is a scrambled tofu après bap with a guacamole side that I had in a restaurant. Absolutely amazing. And there's so many vegan products that taste pretty much the same, but don't come from an animal. And today in the fair, there's loads of options. There's loads of samples for everybody to taste. And it's about finding the ones that work for you. These are the ones that I like, but find what works for your taste bud. There's so many milks out there nowadays. What are your favourite milks? So could you guys let me? Oatly barista, that was fast. That was very fast. Oatly as well. Anyone else? Oatly. Anyone else?
Almond unsweetened.
Almond unsweetened, okay.
Oats.
Oat.
I've recently read that actually that's very high in calories, and we're going to go back to almond.
Okay, fair enough. And you yourself?
I do quite like the hazelnut now.
Yeah. Have you had some of the ones today?
No.
There's a stall with 5 or 6 different plant milks. So that's the thing about veganism. There's all these amazing products coming out all the time that just a new flavour, a new way of presenting food. The other thing is what I try to promote, as well as the mock foods, because they're really convenient, is whole food, plant-based vegan diets. So what that means, for those that don't know, is food in its original state, or as close as you can. So cooking from scratch, fruit. Look, just put your hand up if that looks tasty. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? If that was there, I wish I could just pull it out of the screen. Do you know what I mean? It's that good, and that's vegan food right there. Natural vegan food that comes off trees. And I was picking some mulberries recently. It was just like, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. What else have we got? We have curry. So again, cooking from scratch or as close to you can. So you've got some brown rice, lots of salads in the middle, edamame beans, some baked cauliflower. Anyone had baked cauliflower before? Okay, highly recommend it. It's amazing. Check it out. On the left, we have falafels, obviously classic falafels. Salads, free salads there with a dressing. On the right, you have a tasty fresh avocado. All these other amazing whole foods. And they're healthy as well. So they taste good, they look good, and they're healthy. Fruit is amazing. I love fruit. I'm very biased. I could just eat fruit all the time. And that's because it tastes amazing. It's refreshing. It's got so many flavours in there. It's really, really good food to go for. Watermelon. Wake up, have watermelon for breakfast. Maybe some oats. So later on, Julie's going to give a talk more about health. So I'm just going to give you a little overview about health. And basically, when I was younger, I was like, oh, what about this nutrient? Oh, I can't be a vegan or a vegetarian because they're weak. There's all these kind of myths that came to me. And then through my research, what I found is that the NHS, the British Dietetics Association, the American Dietetics Association, and the Academy of Nutrition All of these huge international bodies say that you can be a healthy vegan at every stage of life. So that's infancy to the end of your life. What their research also shows is that you can be a healthy athlete. You can be a vegan athlete as well. So it's a bit of confidence to us to know, okay, so there are health bodies that say you can be a healthy vegan. When you get into those discussions about those individual nutrients, they're all there in these papers. What I've created is a PDF of those papers, so that's free for everybody to use, share around. When you're having a discussion about veganism, pass them onto this PDF and say, well, this is what these health bodies, this is what the NHS are saying about a vegan diet, so let's discuss this as well as the other things that we're discussing.